such a weight lifted off your shoulders when you get rid of the cancer in your company.
Hey, welcome back to Smart Talk, where we help you go from truck to CEO by working smarter, not harder. I'm your host, Anna Tozubia, and today's guest, he bootstrapped a moving company, grew it to 5 million, and then helped build one of the strongest communities in the industry. Most movers are trying to survive past peak season. Chad Coatney keeps finding ways to level up. Chad is the owner of Master Movers and co-founder of Moving Titans Retreat. He's built systems, teams, and relationships, not just to grow his own business, but to help push the entire moving industry forward. Chad, welcome to Smart Talk.
Thank you, Anita. I appreciate it.
Chad is an absolute blast. And we're going to dive in, right? So I want to talk about Master Movers first, right? So
Okay.
that just turned 13 years old. And
Yesterday.
not all yesterday. Well,
Yesterday.
yesterday, amazing. Not all moving companies are going to make it that far. So you tell us, 13 years old yesterday, what's the biggest lesson that you wish you would have known when you were just getting started?
The biggest lesson I wish I would have known was that not to try to figure it out all on my own. I didn't know that there was a community of guys out there, other moving company owners that are willing to share with you what's working for them. And, this is a hard ass business. It was surprising to me to see like the guys just kind of welcome me with open arms. I was struggling my ass off the first 6 years of starting my business. I got to 800,000. I was wearing every hat in the business. I was putting out every fire, not making any money. I think I was paying myself like 21 grand a year. And that's if we were not having too many damage claims. So I was done. I was ready to get the hell out of here. I ended up getting invited by Wade Sweikel to a mastermind in Scottsdale, Arizona with 16 other moving company owners. We rented a nice house and we just hung out and talked moving the whole time. It was nothing structured. Like we sat around in a circle for 30 minutes and introduced ourselves and our company and how many trucks we had. And then the rest turned into like a bachelor party, pool party. But honestly, like those talks changed everything for me. That was always kind of hard to trust any information from somebody who was trying to sell it to me. And then like hearing it from the guys that it worked for, I believed it and then I implemented and my business just exploded. Another thing that I wasn't doing was spending any money on marketing. I was a penny smart, dollar stupid. I've said it a million times. Faith hates when I say that, but it's so true. And you got to keep that marketing wheel rolling so the dollars keep coming in. Those two things were probably the biggest thing that changed the game for me, is kind of understanding that stuff and having that community. And that's why we started Moving Titan Retreats.
Now, I've been honored to experience that community and just watch the way that you've created this environment where entrepreneurs get together and have those conversations. I mean, you guys aren't movers, you guys are entrepreneurs. You're building businesses and you're building up your communities. And I think it's such a unique thing. And so if our movers are listening to this, afraid to take that next step, or like thinking, hey, you know what, I can't talk to that guy. He's the enemy. He's the boogeyman. He's not.
If you're scared to spend the money, like maybe it's 3 grand, maybe it's 5 grand to go get in the room with these people. That's going to be the best 3 to 5 grand you've ever spent. You're going to turn into 3 to 500 grand if you're in the right room with the right people and you pay attention and you listen and you implement and you put your ego aside. That's huge.
There's nothing more powerful than being in a room full of successful people. It interconnects and it lifts you up.
All these moving company owners we network with, they are entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
My team's in 3 different BNIs here with 40 different business owners in each BNI. It just amazes me how analytical they are and how much experts they are at marketing and sales and how they look at all this stuff and track everything.
It is a challenging, like you said, it's a hard ass business according to you there, right? Like it is. And it's hard to go it alone. And if you've got people that have made those mistakes, that have had those tumbles and are learning from those scars, like that's the way that you could get in to do that. And you've admitted like you've made, every mistake possible in the industry. Tell us a story about a mistake or an area that you got wrong that kind of was a wake-up call for you.
I ended up hiring an operations manager from outside of the moving industry, which was fine, but I kind of knew that he wasn't the right fit, but also at the same time, I didn't want to have to deal with finding another one and retraining another one. And so I kept trying to coach him, kept trying to like drag him along with us. The culture started to suffer. Our numbers started to suffer. He was like delegating everything out to everybody else and not taking ownership of his own tasks. And we just put up with it for too long. Once you get that feeling, actually, I just heard Tommy Mello say this not too long ago. It's like once you get that feeling in your gut that this person is like not who you need, or you just kind of like don't even like to talk to them, that's time to go. Time to get rid of that person. Kurt Hintz from Max Moving. I used to tell him about a couple guys in my company that just like they're good movers, but they don't show up on time. Maybe they show up smelling like booze, or they call off, or they yell at the other employees. He's like, dude, you got to fire him right away. Call him right now. Fire him right away. I'm like, dude, I can't fire him right away. I'm over here with you in Scottsdale and I got to go deal with that. Getting rid of the cancers in the company and making sure you have an environment for the A players to flourish is huge. It's such a weight lifted off your shoulders when you get rid of the cancer in your company.
Absolutely. They might be a top performer, but if they're an asshole, it pulls the
Yeah.
whole thing down. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a great realization too. And in moving your team, and you can't have weak links across that board. It's going to affect everybody in their performance and just the enjoyment of actually coming and working together and providing a service, the way that they treat the customer. I want to talk a little bit about Titans. So you and Wade really built this community, but when did you guys realize it was something bigger than just a group of entrepreneurs getting together?
It all started after that first mastermind. It was actually Chris Ship, who you were hanging out with us at the drip,
Yes.
and then Jesse, his partner, who's in Phoenix.
Yep.
But they put it on, and then Wade and I went to it. And on the flight home, we were like, man, that was so freaking good. But also there was no structure. Like, just think about it. If we put structure with that, like, holy crap. And so we just sat in the hot tub one day and freaking got our notepads and just went at it. Started our LLC, got it all going, and then we hosted probably 7 or 8 of those in mansions on the water in Florida. And then we got to the point where we're like, listen, we just don't have the time to invest in this that it needs to. We need to hire somebody. And that's when we hired Faith. And when we hired Faith, that's when things blew up. There's a book out there. It's called Good to Great. And what takes a company from good to great is the people that you put into place. So always be looking for good quality people because they're going to take it to the next level. I think the first big one we did was at the JW Marriott. We rented out one of the smaller rooms. We sold 55 tickets, which was huge for us. Usually it was like 15 or 16. We freaking like knocked it out of the park. Everybody had a blast. We had 75% of the people sign up for the next one. They didn't even know like when it was or where it was. They were just on board. And then the next one, it grew to 200 people. And the next one was 250. And then last one was like 300. And we were reaching outside of the industry for speakers to start. You know, we had Tommy Mello, we had Andy Elliott. We brought Tommy Mello back again. We had Lance Bachman. But this one, everybody's like, we want it to be more tactical, less rah rah. And I totally agree with that. So this one, we're going to talk about marketing, sales, operations, dispatch, to business development, safety and compliance. Moving company owners are going to be speaking to this stuff. You're going to be speaking to AI, which is super important.
Yes.
We're going to give notebooks to everybody, and everybody's going to leave with probably way too many nuggets to implement before the next one.
Well, come caffeinated then. That content's exciting. And I love hearing, like, if you guys haven't taken a look, we're going to drop it down in the comments below how you go find out about that event, where you can go buy your tickets. I'll also drop the link to Good to Great by Jim Collins. Fantastic book.
Yeah.
If you haven't read it, pick that up. It'll change your mindset of how you build your business. You know, your retreat has been a really fun to attend.
We're bringing back the mastermind. So we have
Yeah. In
mastermind
Scottsdale, right?
Scottsdale, June 10th.
Yeah.
It's coming up. Those are my favorite. When you are in a house, I think we have like 30 moving company owners in this one. Sick house, lazy river, bowling alley, pickleball courts, you name it.
Yeah.
But when you're spending 2.5 days with the same guys and you're eating, sleeping, breathing, working out, having breakout groups, like you really get to build relationships and connections that last much longer than your 5-minute talk as you're passing through the hallway at the conference. Conferences are still great too, but these are like really good.
Yeah. It sounds really exciting.
I got to figure out how to get to 10 million, and I'm hoping the answers are there. We're going to have guys all the way from 1 million to 22 million, I believe.
You guys kept those, like, they're intentionally small and curated, right? So, like,
These
where
are,
Moving Titans is big, and that's happening in September. So, movers, if you're listening, like, this is a great way to go and get those big, bold ideas really, really shake things up in your mind and then go spend the time in that smaller group
Yep.
and have those conversations more tight knit or vice versa, right? Like you're going to get a different interaction off of both of those types of events. So you mentioned something to me a little earlier on, really making culture a secret sauce. And every movie company I talk to, right, they're always like culture matters, but a lot of people don't know how to build that intentionally. And I think you've done a great job at this. So like what is a good culture? And tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're doing to cultivate that.
Well, culture is one of our core values. Our core values are culture, ownership, liability, and excellence. And so we like eat and breathe our core values. They're posted everywhere. We quiz the guys on it all the time. We always keeping it top of mind is huge. It's all about it being a win-win-win. And it's got to be a win for the employee, it's got to be a win for the customer, and it's got to be a win for the company. Like that's the only way that I want to do it anymore. These like electricians and plumbers, right? They go in their truck and they have all the tools to do these jobs and then they can upsell it, right? They're like the salesman for the company. So I
Yeah.
was like, I want to do that for my movers. You know, what can they upsell? Well, they can upsell extra moving materials. They can upsell packing, unpacking. They can upsell pads. They can upsell donation disposal or specialty crates. Or if somebody's walking by, they can get commission on pushing it and sending us a lead and we book it. So we give them chances and opportunities to win. And right now we're doing something really cool. It started as a welcome home box, but we got fortunate enough that one of the sponsors donated a cooler backpack.
Nice.
This is
Nice.
a bag with a bunch of other items in it: stainless steel water bottles, sunglasses, phone chargers. We got Bluetooth speakers, towels are going to be in there. It's like your beach day kit, you know, or your pool day kit. So we're going to give this, it's kind of like what Good Greek does, but we're giving it to people
Yeah.
after every move, right? And it's going to come with special promotions and it's come with, discounts. And then my team for pushing or selling any of this stuff is going to get referral fees from all these guys. I'm always looking for ways to get my guys more opportunity to make money. And then I'm also giving something nice to my customer. And then I'm also giving business back to all these other business owners. And then this was actually a win-win-win-win. That's just the mindset. Always supporting your guys is what I found. Like they need support. You know, it's a hard ass job that they're doing. It's hot, it's heavy. If they need help, we go help them and we listen to them. And if they're like are frequent complainers, then hey, maybe this isn't the right job for you. Paying well, we give them 401k, health, dental, vision, life insurance. So we kind of make it more of a career than just a job that they don't want to lose. I have guys that have worked for me for 8 years, you know, and I still
Great longevity.
yeah, and we do like our mover meetings are huge for bringing everybody together. I get breakfast catered. You know, we all hoot and holler and laugh and celebrate the wins and talk about things that we need to work on.
The other thing, and you've got the little glow back behind you, so we're gonna talk about it for a second. Yeah, there you go, tighten up. I this is also about culture because people talk about culture and they start doing the human part of it, but they're still winging like onboarding and training and communication and like.
Yeah.
So, what did you see in the industry that made you think, hey, we need better training systems?
The only other training system was from the 1980s, and they can teach you how to pack a VCR or wrap a tubed, big ass tube TV. I was in the middle of building one myself for my company, and Wade was doing the same thing. And I think John was doing the same thing. We're like, why don't we just freaking make this universal for the whole industry? And there's no consistency when you're trying to just like do it yourself at the office. Like, hey, watch these videos. Did they watch the videos? I don't know. Well, now with Tighten Up Training, there's the accountability aspect of it. There's quizzes afterwards and you can see their progress. We shot it in Hollywood production theater. Like we spent a crap ton of money on making sure the quality was right. Now we have a really consistent onboarding process that tells all the movers what they need to know and gets them up to speed like this. Like, who is everybody in the company? What is everybody's role in the company? Who do you report to? How do you sign up on your payroll? What are our core values? What's our mission statement? What's our vision statement? What's our process on move day? You can upload all that stuff to your Tighten Up training and have certain roles and responsibilities and assign that to those people to make sure that they get up to speed. We help you with it. We show you the examples that like Wade and I have created, and we think it's going to be super valuable to everybody else.
That's awesome. I think that's the big part of it is like there's no skipping
Yeah.
steps in the training process. And you don't want to, right? That's what gives you the consistency to your brand at the end of the day, which I know you were talking about spending money on marketing. Marketing is not just advertising. Marketing is the way that that customer experiences your team and the output and the service, because that's what's going to give you word of mouth. That's what's going to
That
give you the
is
great review. So
everything. There's nothing.
yes. So invest in that training, make that consistency happen, bleed the culture into the first day.
I
Exactly.
always say, like, we do not just deliver a moving service, we deliver a moving experience that the customer can feel good about at the end of the day. That is the key.
Yes.
I want
Yes.
us leaving that house and they're like, wow, that was freaking awesome, you know? And if it's not, we call the day or two after and we find out. We're like, hey, 1 out of 10, how was it? If it's anything less than a 10, tell me more about that. Why? And we try to make it right. We'll do anything to make it right because the worst past customer, I guess, is the one that doesn't say anything and you don't even know that anything went wrong. So we want to know, we want to make it right, we want to fix it, even if it costs us money, because I know it's going to cost me a shit ton more money later.
They might be quiet to you, but they're definitely not quiet to their friends. And I think
Exactly.
that's the part that you have to remember is like, just because you didn't get the negative review doesn't mean the negative review isn't happening in the background.
Yeah.
So I want to just make sure that everyone who's listening, right, if culture is a big deal or you're struggling with training, go tightenuptraining.com if you want to get in and understand some of those training pieces. Chad is your guy. Hey, here's my key things. Right room changes everything. Culture doesn't happen by accident. It's planned methodically. And growth gets a hell of a lot easier when you stop trying to go alone.
Don't forget about the win-win-win. That's something
Yes.
I didn't used to
Well, it's
like.
four now. Win, 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 win.
It used to be all about how do I win? And what I've learned, it's not about how I win, it's how do we all win together.
Don't forget about the win equation. It's a growth loop, realistically. And I think that's a fantastic takeaway. Chad, I appreciate you taking time out to hang out with me today on Smart Talk and just sharing the real side of building a moving company, starting a community. Folks, like if you're listening or you're going to be attending one of these events, please comment, let me know. We've got, the Titan Retreat coming up. We also have Smart Moving Summit coming up after Titan Retreats in October. You're going to be there. Yeah, Chad's going to be there with us in Scottsdale, actually. October 8th through the 11th. We're just trying to get our small business entrepreneurs together for some days to have these relationships and more tactical conversations and get some strategies you can take back to your business.
And don't forget, there is nothing more valuable than time. And don't waste 6 years of your life like I did, not taking the leap to go into these events and get in the right room with these people, and listening to these things and implementing it, because I can't get that time back and I can't get that brown hair back that I had before. Now it's all white. So don't be like me. That's all
Die
I'm
and deny, Chad. Die and deny.
Uh,
We'll see you in Florida in September. We'll see you in Scottsdale in October. Thanks so much for watching Smart Talk. Until next time, work smarter,
tighten
not
up.
harder. Tighten up.